Hello, welcome back to my American English podcast channel. In this episode, we are going to talk about how English movies can help you increase your vocabulary. Today's topic is one of the most exciting, enjoyable, and effective ways to learn new words, and we're going to explore it in a very deep, detailed, and comprehensive way. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a long and valuable episode filled with tips, explanations, and strategies that can truly change the way you learn English forever. Learning vocabulary is one of the biggest challenges for English learners, especially for those who are studying for exams, improving their speaking skills, or trying to understand native speakers better. Many students read word lists, write flashcards, or memorize definitions, but they still forget the words after a few days. Why? Because vocabulary doesn't grow through memorization alone. It grows through meaningful exposure. When you experience a word in real situations, in real conversations, in emotional contexts, your brain forms deeper memories. That's where movies come in. English movies are full of living, breathing language. They give you context, natural pronunciation, tone, humor, and expressions that textbooks often cannot provide. In this episode, I'll break down exactly how movies help you learn vocabulary, why they're so effective, how you can create a system to learn from them, which movies are best for your level, and how you can build habits that help you grow your vocabulary every single day. We're going to go step by step, from simple strategies to advanced techniques used by fluent speakers and polyglots around the world. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about natural input. In language learning, input is everything you see and hear in English. Movies provide authentic input, the kind of English native speakers actually use. They include slang, idioms, phrasal verbs, expressions, daily conversation language, and even cultural references. This is extremely important because vocabulary is not just about knowing a word. It's about understanding how people use it in real life. When you hear a word in a movie, you understand the situation, the emotion behind it, the tone, and the reaction of the other characters. All of these elements help you store the word more deeply in your memory. Second, movies help you improve your listening and pronunciation. When you hear native speakers talk naturally, not slowly, not artificially, your ears learn the rhythm of English. You understand how words connect, how sounds disappear, how sentences flow, and how intonation changes meaning. This helps with vocabulary because sometimes you already know the word, but you don't recognize it when someone says it quickly. Movies train your listening skills so that when you learn new words, you can actually hear them in real life. Third, movies expose you to multiple accents. American English movies alone include many accents: Standard American, Southern, New York accent, Californian accent, and more. Each accent teaches you how different people pronounce the same words. This helps your vocabulary because you become flexible. You can recognize the same word even if it sounds slightly different. For example, the word water sounds different in New York and California, and movies help you get used to these variations. Fourth, movies help you learn vocabulary emotionally. When you watch a romantic scene, a dramatic moment, or a funny joke, your brain releases emotional chemicals that make memories stronger. This is why you often remember lines from your favorite movies. The emotional experience increases the strength of the memory. The more emotional the scene, the stronger the vocabulary becomes in your mind. This is a secret trick that many language learners don't realize. Emotional learning is powerful learning. Let's talk about context now. Context is everything. If I show you the word commit, that's just a word. But if you hear a character in a movie say, "You need to commit to the mission," suddenly the meaning is more clear. You feel the seriousness, the responsibility, the pressure. Vocabulary becomes meaningful only when it has context. Movies give you endless context, conversations, arguments, explanations, jokes, emotional moments, and natural reactions. Each scene teaches you words in a clear situation. One of the biggest benefits of movies is hearing collocations. Collocations are word combinations that often go together, like make a decision, take a break, give advice, or pay attention. You can memorize these from books, but movies show you how people actually say them. You hear the rhythm, "Hey, man, you need to pay attention, or you should really take a break." Listening to collocations helps you sound natural and confident when you speak. Another powerful benefit is exposure to phrasal verbs. English is full of phrasal verbs like look after, run into, pick up, figure out, turn down, and carry on. These verbs are everywhere in movies. They're used in almost every conversation. When you hear characters using them, you automatically start absorbing them. You learn not just the meaning, but the tone, whether it's casual, formal, emotional, or humorous. Over time, you become more comfortable using them yourself. Movies also help you learn idioms and expressions. For example, expressions like break a leg, take it easy, that's on me, you're pulling my leg, that's the last straw, or come on, give me a break appear naturally in movies. When you hear these in context, you understand not just the translation but the feeling behind them. This makes idioms easier to use in real conversations. Now let's go deeper. How exactly do you learn vocabulary from movies? What system should you follow? The first method is the subtitles strategy. For beginners and intermediates, English subtitles are extremely helpful. They help you connect what you hear with what you read. This strengthens listening, reading, and vocabulary at the same time. If you see a word you don't know, pause, write it down, search for its meaning, and continue watching. But here's a trick, only pause for important words or repeated words. Don't stop every 5 seconds, that kills the enjoyment. The second method is active listening. Choose a short scene, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and listen to it carefully. Try to understand as much as possible. Then watch it again with subtitles. Compare what you heard with what was written. This method trains your listening skills and helps you catch new vocabulary naturally. The third method is repetition. Repetition is the mother of learning. If you watch your favorite movie multiple times, you will notice new words every time. This is because your brain absorbs language in layers. The first time, you focus on the story. The second time, you focus on conversations. The third time, you catch new expressions. Repetition helps vocabulary move from passive memory to active memory. The fourth method is imitation. This is one of the most powerful techniques ever. Choose a scene with good dialogue and imitate the characters. Copy their pronunciation, tone, and rhythm. This helps you internalize vocabulary in a natural way. When you imitate characters, you also build speaking confidence because you practice real sentences, not artificial ones. Another strategy is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a line and repeating it at the same time. This trains your mouth to move like a native speaker. It helps you learn vocabulary with natural pronunciation. You don't just memorize the word, you learn how to say it. Let's talk about vocabulary notebooks. When learning from movies, always have a vocabulary notebook or a digital note-taking app. Write the word, its meaning, an example sentence from the movie, and your own example sentence. This helps you remember the word better. If you review your notebook regularly, you'll build a strong vocabulary base. Flashcards also help. Use apps like Anki or Quizlet. Add new words from movies to your flashcards. These apps use spaced repetition, which helps you remember words for a long time. Now, let's discuss which movies are best for vocabulary learning. Some movies are simple and perfect for beginners. Some are more advanced and good for intermediate or advanced learners. For beginners, animated movies like Frozen, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, or Moana are great choices because the language is clear and slow. For intermediate learners, movies like Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, Spider-Man, or The Fault in Our Stars are excellent because the language is modern but not too difficult. For advanced learners, movies like Inception, The Social Network, The Martian, or The Queen's Gambit can help you learn more complex vocabulary. TV series are also very helpful. Shows like Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Modern Family, The Good Place, or Brooklyn Nine-Nine are great for learning daily conversation vocabulary. Because each episode is short and the characters repeat vocabulary, you learn faster and more naturally. Now, let's talk about something extremely important: consistency. Watching one movie doesn't change your vocabulary. But watching movies regularly, even 20 to 30 minutes a day, creates massive results over months. If you create a habit, your vocabulary will grow naturally. You won't feel the stress of studying because movies are enjoyable. That's the beauty of this method: you learn without feeling like you're studying. Another important point is choosing the right difficulty level. If the movie is too difficult, you will feel frustrated. If it's too easy, you won't learn anything new. Choose movies where you understand at least 60 to 70% of the dialogue. If you understand that much, your brain can handle the new vocabulary. Let's talk about cultural learning. Vocabulary is not just words, it includes cultural meanings. Movies teach you culture. You learn how Americans express emotions, how they joke, how they argue, how they show love, how they apologize, and how they complain. All of these are part of vocabulary. When you watch movies, you learn the cultural context behind language, which makes your vocabulary richer and more meaningful. Now let's go deeper into memory science. Why do movies help your brain remember better? Because your brain loves stories. Stories activate many parts of the brain: memory, emotion, imagination, problem-solving, and language centers. When a word appears inside a story, your brain remembers it more easily. This is why reading stories also helps with vocabulary, but movies add sound, movement, color, emotion, and facial expressions, which make learning even more powerful. Another scientific reason is that movies use multimodal learning. This means you learn through multiple senses: hearing, seeing, reading, and feeling. The more senses involved, the stronger the memory. Let's talk about jargon. Jargon means vocabulary related to specific fields like medicine, law, business, science, technology, or sports. Watching movies from different genres helps you learn specialized vocabulary. For example, crime movies teach police and law vocabulary. Medical dramas teach health vocabulary. Sci-fi movies teach science vocabulary. Business movies teach negotiation vocabulary. Sports movies teach motivational and teamwork vocabulary. By exploring different genres, you expand your vocabulary in many directions. Now let's talk about mistakes people make when learning from movies. Mistake number 1: watching without attention. Some people watch movies in English but don't focus on the language. They only focus on the story. To learn vocabulary, you need to be active, not passive. Pay attention to the words. Mistake number 2: using only Persian subtitles. If you watch with Persian subtitles, you won't learn vocabulary effectively. You will only read Persian. So try to use English subtitles whenever possible. Mistake number 3: trying to understand everything. You don't need to understand 100% of the movie. Even native speakers don't understand everything all the time. Mistake number 4: not writing down new vocabulary. If you don't write vocabulary, you will forget it. Writing helps you remember. Mistake number 5: watching difficult movies. Start with simple movies first. Now let's go into a powerful technique called the 3-step movie method. Step 1: watch with English subtitles. Focus on understanding the story and noticing new words. Step 2: re-watch important scenes without subtitles. This helps you train your ears. Step 3: imitate the dialogue. This helps with speaking and vocabulary. Now, let's talk about the difference between passive vocabulary and active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary includes words you understand but don't use. Active vocabulary includes words you can use confidently when speaking or writing. Watching movies increases passive vocabulary quickly. But if you want to turn passive vocabulary into active vocabulary, you must speak. Imitation and shadowing help you do that. Also, using the words in your own sentences makes them active. Let's talk about emotional vocabulary again. Movies give you exposure to different emotions like sadness, anger, excitement, love, fear, surprise, and hope. Each emotion is connected to specific vocabulary. For example, movies help you learn expressions like, I'm freaking out. Calm down. You're kidding, right? I can't take this anymore. What are you talking about? I didn't mean to hurt you. Each expression carries emotion. This helps you understand tone and attitude, which are part of vocabulary. Now let's talk about slang and informal vocabulary. Movies teach you modern American expressions that textbooks don't teach. Examples include, no way. Seriously? Come on. That's awesome. You nailed it. Chill out. I'm down for that. These expressions make you sound more natural when you speak. Now, let's talk about humor in movies. Humor teaches you playful vocabulary, sarcasm, irony, exaggeration, and funny expressions. Understanding humor is a high-level skill because it involves cultural knowledge. But when you watch funny movies regularly, you slowly understand the patterns of American humor. Another benefit is motivation. Movies keep you motivated because they're fun. When learning feels enjoyable, you learn faster. Motivation is the fuel that keeps you learning. If you study only with books, you may feel tired. But movies refresh your mind and make English learning enjoyable. Now let's go into a super effective weekly plan for learning vocabulary through movies. Weekly movie vocabulary plan. Day 1. Choose a movie and watch the first 20 minutes with English subtitles. Write down 10 to 15 new words. Day 2. Re-watch the same 20 minutes without subtitles. Focus on listening and catching familiar words. Day 3. Choose one interesting scene and practice imitation. Repeat lines after the characters. Day 4. Watch the next 20 minutes with English subtitles. Collect new vocabulary again. Day 5. Review your vocabulary notebook. Write your own sentences. Day 6. Watch without subtitles. Check your listening improvement. Day 7. Watch your favorite scenes again for enjoyment. Relax and have fun. If you follow this weekly plan, your vocabulary will grow faster than ever. Now let's talk about one more powerful technique, movie dictation. Choose a short scene, listen, and write down what you hear. Then check with subtitles. This technique improves listening and vocabulary at the same time. Another great technique is dialogue analysis. Choose a scene and analyze how characters speak. Notice the vocabulary they use. For example, how they express anger, surprise, disappointment, or excitement. This helps you understand emotional vocabulary better. Now I want to talk about the long-term benefits of learning through movies. After months of watching English movies, your vocabulary will grow naturally. You will understand more words without trying. You will start thinking in English. Your pronunciation will improve. Your speaking will become smoother. Your confidence will grow. And most importantly, you will enjoy the process. Another advantage is learning real-life vocabulary. Movies show you how people talk in restaurants, airports, schools, workplaces, hospitals, or families. This is practical vocabulary you can use in everyday life. Movies also expose you to different social situations. You learn how people apologize, how they express gratitude, how they compliment others, how they make suggestions, how they negotiate, how they argue politely, and how they express disagreement. All of this is part of vocabulary and communication. Now let's talk about something advanced, register. Register means the level of formality in language. Movies teach you how people speak formally and informally. For example, formal, I appreciate your help. Informal, thanks a lot. Movies help you understand when to use each register. This is extremely important for sounding natural in English. Movies also teach you contraction usage. Native speakers often use contractions like, I'm instead of I am. Don't instead of do not. It's instead of it is. Contractions make speech faster and more natural. Movies help you get used to them. Now let's talk about observation. If you pay attention to how characters speak, you notice vocabulary patterns. For example, how often they use words like actually, literally, basically, seriously, totally, or honestly. These are everyday adverbs that make speech more natural. They also help you express strong meaning. Another benefit is learning transition words like however, therefore, meanwhile, in the end, as a result, and for example. These words are useful in writing and speaking. Movies help you recognize them in natural speech. Movies also help you learn descriptive vocabulary. For example, words that describe feelings, actions, and situations: frustrated, relieved, shocked, devastated, confused, determined. Rush, grab, drop, whisper, yell, hesitate. Chaotic, peaceful, crowded, silent, messy, organized. Descriptive words help you express yourself more clearly. Let's go deeper into emotional vocabulary. Movies show characters reacting emotionally in many situations. You hear expressions like, that really hurt my feelings. I'm proud of you. I'm disappointed. I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. You scared me. These expressions help you communicate emotions more effectively. Now let's talk about confidence. When you watch a lot of movies, you become less afraid of English. The language feels familiar. You start recognizing patterns. You understand slang. You enjoy conversations. You start speaking more naturally. Confidence grows when exposure increases. Movies also help you with pronunciation. You learn how native speakers stress words, which syllables are strong, which are weak, and how intonation rises and falls. Intonation is the music of language. Movies teach you this music. Now let's talk about the difference between movie English and textbook English. Textbooks teach clean, simple, well-structured English. Movies teach natural, messy, real English. Real English includes interruptions, mistakes, fast speech, and emotional changes. When you learn vocabulary from movies, you get used to real English, which helps you in real conversations. Movies also help you understand cultural idioms, references, and metaphors. For example, it's not rocket science. Hit the road. Keep your chin up. The ball is in your court. Movies help you understand the meaning behind these expressions. Another advantage is exposure to humor, sarcasm, and irony. These are advanced skills that require cultural understanding. When you watch movies regularly, your brain starts recognizing these patterns. Let's talk about subtitles again. English subtitles are extremely useful. But as you improve, try switching to no subtitles. It will be difficult at first, but it trains your brain to process English naturally. Now let's talk about learning vocabulary through repeated phrases. Movies often repeat certain phrases like, are you okay? What's going on? I'll be right back. Let's get out of here. Come with me. These common phrases become part of your natural vocabulary. Let's discuss environment vocabulary. Movies show different environments like offices, schools, homes, streets, and stores. Each environment includes different vocabulary. For example, office vocabulary includes words like deadline, meeting, schedule, presentation, report, and manager. Movies teach you these through natural scenes. Another category is action vocabulary: run, chase, hit, grab, hold, throw, catch, push, pull, and so on. Movies show these actions visually, which helps you remember the words better. Let's talk about time vocabulary: yesterday, tonight, later, in a minute, right now, this week, and next month. Movies help you understand how native speakers use these expressions naturally. Let's talk about survival vocabulary. Movies often include emergency situations where characters say things like, "Call 911. Help me. Stay back. Are you hurt? We need to get out." These expressions help you learn how to respond in emergencies. Movies also help with relationship vocabulary: friend, neighbor, partner, boss, coworker, client, stranger. You hear people describing their relationships in natural conversations. Now let's talk about motivation again. Movies inspire you. When you see characters overcoming challenges, solving problems, or achieving success, you feel motivated. This emotional motivation helps you learn vocabulary more naturally. Another important benefit is the connection between words and visual memory. When you see an object or action on screen while hearing the word, your brain forms a strong link. This is called multimodal association. It improves vocabulary retention. Now let's talk about advanced vocabulary learning. If you reach a higher level, you can learn vocabulary related to deep emotions, complex ideas, psychology, philosophy, politics, or science through movies. For example, movies like Interstellar, Inception, Good Will Hunting, or The Social Network expose you to sophisticated vocabulary. Another benefit is learning how English is used in various tones: polite, rude, formal, friendly, romantic, sarcastic, dramatic, and humorous. Each tone uses specific vocabulary. Movies train you to recognize and use the right tone. Let's discuss conversational fillers like like, I mean, well, actually, and basically. These fillers help you sound more natural when speaking. Movies expose you to them frequently. Let's go deeper into idiomatic expressions. Movies are full of idioms like, "I'm on it." "It's not my cup of tea." "You've got to be kidding me." "It slipped my mind." "Let's call it a day." These idioms help you sound more fluent and natural. Now let's talk about habits again. If you watch 30 minutes of English movies every day for 1 year, your vocabulary will grow more than reading 10 vocabulary books. Why? Because movies give you real exposure. Consistency is the key. Let's also talk about genre differences. Different genres teach different vocabulary: comedy, daily conversation vocabulary; drama, emotional vocabulary; action, action verbs and commands; romance, relationship vocabulary; horror, fear vocabulary; science fiction, technology vocabulary; documentaries, academic vocabulary. By mixing genres, you expand your vocabulary in many directions. Now let's discuss movie quotes. Many people remember famous movie lines forever. These lines often include strong verbs, emotional words, or memorable expressions. When a line is powerful, your brain remembers it easily. Movies also help you learn vocabulary through prediction. When you watch a scene, you try to guess what the characters will say next. This helps your brain process vocabulary actively. Finally, let's talk about long-term impact. Watching movies consistently makes English feel natural. Words don't feel difficult anymore. You begin to think in English. You start using expressions automatically. Your vocabulary grows every week without stress.